Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning into episode 459 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording. Please do consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already done so. And if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. For those of you watching live, this is video 2 of Fingers Crossed 4. First comment for this one goes to Thomas, who says, "Good afternoon, lots of you tuning back in." This is the new or newish, I think it's been out for what, maybe 6 weeks or so, new from Serge Lutens. It's called La Fille Tour De Fer, composed by Christopher Sheldrake, of course. We're not going to get into the meaning or potential meaning of the name. I put out a thing yesterday, 2 days ago, on YouTube and on Instagram, asking if, those who have a superior knowledge of French than I have, if there were any puns or hidden meanings in this name that I should be aware of, because a lot of Serge Lutens' names do tend to be quite cryptic, quite punning, quite clever. Lots and lots of you got in touch, actually, so thank you very much indeed. But I think we can conclude from everything that people have said that there isn't a pun as such in this name, but it's basically a reference, a kind of grammatically dubious reference to the Eiffel Tower, and the use of the word tour as well in combination with the girl or the daughter suggests spinning on the tower. Apparently, a few people who went to the UK press launch of this, I wasn't there, said that one of the inspirations was this woman, a female figure who's having a party at the top of the Eiffel Tower. So I think it's those sorts of ideas that are somehow encompassed by this name. The Eiffel Tower, by extension, Paris, a woman turning, spinning, partying, etc., etc. I think that's what we're meant to be going with. But although obviously there is also a reference to iron, and it's kind of metatextual and self-referential as well, because there is a definite reference in here to what was it, to the Iron Maiden perfume that Lutens gave us a while ago, Vierge de Fer. Although nobody seems to be talking about as well the La Fille de Berlin, the girl from Berlin, or the daughter of Berlin. I mean, that was immediately the one that I went to when I saw the name, but there we are. Excited for this one, says David. Rachel is here as well, saying hello. Hi, Rachel. Always nice to see you. Tracy says Lutens is a more affordable range. Beautiful. I know, more affordable at the moment. It wasn't always the case, though. And, Lutens was considered to be one of the most expensive brands. Gavin says, I think it's based on Emily in Paris. I haven't seen that program, but I'm guessing you're being a little bit sarky there. Claire says, hi, everybody, late to the Serge Lutens event. We've only just started, Claire, you're fine. Cheeky Uncle Serge says, Pradeep, playing into the cliche. Mirish says, hello again. I'm very curious as well because I'm a big Serge Lutens fan. Kylie Minogue in Paris, says Oriana. Yes. Now, here's the sort of press artwork. Let me see if I can show you that without creating a sort of glare from the lights. Does that look like a Kylie figure to you? I'm not sure. Although it's a very, very striking graphic. So let us smell. A sneak preview. I'm quite taken with this one. And yeah, I had a conversation with Madame Persolaise about this one as well as the subject of the previous video. So let us label our blotter. Here we go. What I don't like is why they keep insisting at Lutens on coloring the juices. I mean, okay, it's a pretty color, but you don't need to do it, especially not if it's going to stain clothes. But there we are. Okay, so we have a pre-dipped mermaid. What you get straight away, you are absolutely in rose territory, a territory that Lutens has occupied many, 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 many times. I think we can safely assume it's probably his favorite floral note. He's done lots of roses, many of them stunning. But this one is a peppery rose to start with, a kind of pink peppery rose. But the rose is very, very, very full-bodied, and perhaps less literal than some of his other roses. So I'm thinking of, Sa Majesté la Rose, which is the kind of out-and-out rose soliflor, one of the most beautiful soliflors. La Fille de Berlin was a kind of cold, icy rose as well. Then didn't we also get a wasn't there a rose de nuit, which is his kind of rose chypre? So this is peppery, but it's also a little bit sticky, a little bit jammy as well. But interestingly, in a way, it's the least figurative, the least literal, because you do get rose. It's not completely abstract, but it's the most abstracted rose he's done. And I don't know whether there's something in the air, whether there's some kind of synchronicity or serendipity or whatever, but Yves Saint Laurent Paris has been on my mind a lot, as you know. Yada, yada, yada. I won't go into the sort of details now because I'll be boring you, because I'm sure a lot of you have heard this story already, but I ended up getting online a vintage bottle of YSL Paris Eau de Parfum, which I gave to Madame Persolaise because she said that she wished she had a kind of abstract stroke old-fashioned floral in her collection. I asked Madame P to smell this, and she sort of immediately went, oh, it's kind of a little bit like that Yves Saint Laurent Paris. And I completely agree with her. And the scent is meant to be a reference to Paris. It's meant to be inspired by Paris. So who knows? I wonder if Uncle Serge and Christopher Sheldrake sat together and they said, let's try and do our own take on YSL Paris. I don't know. I mean, this is obviously pure speculation on my part. But you can completely see that there, except you can't make florals and roses as big and bold and diffusive in the way that Paris was, because you're not allowed to use certain materials that you were allowed to use back then that created that effect. But I suppose what they've gone for here as a substitute is that kind of pepperiness, the jamminess. But it is really faceted and tending towards abstraction, which I think makes it very, very attractive. We're meant to apparently think of it in relation to Vierge de Fer. Okay, I think of it in relation more to La Fille de Berlin. It's like the iciness of that scent also warmed up and made maybe more hedonistic somehow. It is Serge in kind of rare hedonistic mode. What are folks saying? Mirish says Berlin is also interesting because of the honey rose. Yes. Christine says, I said it's his take on YSL Paris. I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, stranger things have happened, right? Gavin says, I think La Fille de Berlin is a big seller. Yes, it's one of their best sellers. I think somewhat unexpectedly, but a huge seller. This ties into that, but is also after the Delina and Carmina money. Oh my goodness. I mean, no, this does not make me think of Delina. But anyway. Mr. Blackmore says, Persolaise, what do you think of Gualtieri and Nazamato? Ooh, let's not go off tangent today, but you will find reviews of that brand over on persolaise.com. Jeff says, I thought we are getting some extra French uber Parisienne naming and marketing from Lutens, potentially aimed towards the global attention on Paris for the Olympics and brands trying to cash in on it. Ooh. Now, there's a nice sneaky. I hadn't thought of that at all. I hadn't thought of brands trying to do that. Maybe we're going to start seeing like some Grecian-inspired scents, or Athenian, or athlete. We should have had athlete. Calvin Klein athlete for men, for athlete for women. Sister Parfum says, does it have a portrait of a lady side? Maybe there's, well, the pepper incensiness takes you towards portrait, but it didn't really make me think of portrait. Let's take a look at the press release, which is very, very brief and suitably cryptic. So, La Fille Tour De Fer starts with a quotation, apparently from Uncle Serge himself. No matter what the famous song says, with her, Paris will never just be Paris. In one fell swoop, she overturns the outdated image of the sweet, corseted Parisian belle with her Eiffel Tower and other such cliches. Hot colors and haute couture. It does say hot, by the way. That's not me mispronouncing haute. She's a master, although I suppose that's a kind of pun. She's a master of reinvention, always a rebel against everything, including herself. She forges ahead without fear. Be careful with her. She's a tough one. To be honest, she tires me out. What about you? Yeah, I'm getting somebody a lot gentler and more approachable and just kind of nicer than this description. The dominant notes, according to the press release, are natural pink pepper essence, Turkish and Bulgarian rose absolute, and iris. Olfactory impressions, seductive, determined, and rare. Determined? Again, maybe I'm seeing something softer. Fille Tour De Fer is a Parisian free spirit without the slightest regard for polite convention. She remains fully at ease in all situations. With a cutting sense of repartee, she is a colourful rebel. She uses her distinctive sex appeal and style to take on the world and shatter the cliched image of the sweet Parisian belle. I mean, actually, if anything, I'm thinking the downside of this perfume is that maybe it's not particularly original. So here's Pre-Dipped Mermaid. It's just it's a very, very nicely done, slightly jammy, musky rose. I really like it, and I think it's very, very attractive. But yeah, on the sort of groundbreaking scale, I wouldn't put it especially high. Through this new rose tinged with the hard edge of the streets of Paris. Okay. Serge Lutens breathes new life into the past to reinvent the future, breaking down the codes of perfumery to bring it up to par with the modern woman. Hot couture alert. Okay, so they're obviously going for something different with the marketing. And again, I suppose that reference to iron in the name suggests they're going for something like that. Kerry says, sounds nice. I didn't even look at the notes because expected full-on metallic. Yeah, I mean, okay, a metallic edge, a metallic lining, but this isn't a hard scent, and it's certainly not aggressive or. That is a pre-dipped Frederick Mal, says Oria. It's a pre-dipped Frederick Mal blotter, but don't worry, it is the correct scent. I have labeled it. Fear not. I'm a bit stumped by that press release because I'm thinking, okay, have I been smelling completely the wrong thing? It's really charming, actually. But maybe that's the idea, the charm of being uncompromising. Alcoholic Nun says the export line is so pedestrian these days. Wish they'd put bain de soie, tuberose criminelle, vitriol, don't make me say the French word for carnation, and many others back in. This is a cut above pedestrian. I mean, look, it feels like I'm damning it with faint praise. I really do like it. I do like it, and I really would like Madame Persolaise to wear it. I think I'm underselling it. So do try it. You know, I've sort of said that on the originality scale, maybe it doesn't score very highly, but it does score highly on the other scales, and you can't have originality all the time. Seems charming, says Rachel. Yes, it is. It is, and I will look forward to wearing it as well. In the way that I very much enjoyed wearing the Daughter of Berlin. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning into this one. We will be back in a few moments with something new from Chanel. Hang on to your comet tails. It's the new exclusive. See you in a bit. Bye now.